¿Qué onda, mi raza? Aquí andamos con Jacob Stitch Duran. Es un honor, man. Sí, es Jacob, no lo estoy cagando.
Pues gente no sabe mi nombre, ¿no?
Nah,
No.
It's always
Bueno,
ese es
no,
Sophie
no.
yeah, puro Stitch, man.
No,
Pero
es
no,
que.
Jacob, y le pregunté a mi jefita.
Wait, I thought Stitch was his first name.
No.
No, I asked my jefita, I said, chingado, man. I don't even know the name of Jacob. Pero tengo Rudy, Pancho, Jose, Henry, and Jacob. You know, amigo, came from the people.
From,
So, but it made me a strong, it's a strong name.
Yeah,
Y
it
luego
is.
Duran, of course, it's a strong name. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, aquí estamos.
Aquí estamos in Houston, Texas. You can see we're not in our usual set. Gracias a
Hey,
Dios.
I know, I talk to the people, pues ya me conocen, güey.
Hey,
Aquí tengo unos camaradas que they want to do an interview. No, no, lo que quieran ustedes.
a
So,
huevo. No, thank you,
Thank you for being
having
here.
me.
Giving us this opportunity to be here.
It's a big opportunity, man, because like I said,
Yeah.
I've been in the little boxing world, me ha tocado, gracias a Dios, estar ahí con ellos. And getting to meet you that day of Venalo's fight was exciting. It was exciting because it's not every day you meet the guy behind, the success of a lot of boxers.
hey, bro, it's a mind blower. Like say I grew up as a farm worker. I showed you the pictures my mom had. Puro farm worker, so I never forget where I come from. But every day I thank God que aquí estoy
Simón.
doing this. And when I did the first Creed movie, I'm telling Sylvester Stallone, I said, man, I can't sleep at nights.
Yeah.
And he says, why? I'm here for you and Michael B. Jordan and Tesla and Ryan Coogler. And he said, hey, man, you earned it. And I thought,
That's
wow, you know what? So I
crazy.
look at this and I earned my stripes, bro. And it's all done by giving and doing the proper things. And, you know that. You're
Yeah.
athletic, you work in medicine. So you know the importance of taking care of yourself.
Always.
No, but yeah, it's building that relationship with the athletes. You take care of them, so that they can treat you with the same respect. Because they know that, if something happens, they got to go to you.
Hey, man, I look at these guys and I work with so many world champions. I can't even. It's not even about that no more. It's about the characters.
Simón.
But these guys, they're modern day gladiators, but deep inside they're all babies. And my job is to take care of the baby. Pretty good at that.
We got so into it. I mean, for the people that don't know who you are, you want to present yourself?
Okay, hey, read the papers, man. La chingada, ¿qué andas haciendo?
Watch the movies.
Yeah, what's the
Maybe the movies, just everything,
Oh,
man.
yeah, no, the UFC, y todo esto.
Right.
But as Jacob Duran, I grew up in the San Joaquin Valley of California, born and raised as a migrant, farm worker with during the era of Cesar Chavez. My parents fought for the rights for La Raza, and so we've always been doing that. And I studied Muay Thai when I was in the Air Force in Thailand, 1974, and I got into boxing. I opened up a school of kickboxing and learned to be a cutman. I was a trainer, and here I am talking to you guys as a cutman for tonight's fights with Top Rank.
Man, that's crazy. Sí, está
Hey,
loco,
pero sí
loco.
se puede, man. I say I ain't no different than nobody else, bro. I grew up puro Chicano and proud of where I'm from and good at what I do, but I always pass it.
I
Por
love
eso
that, man.
estamos aquí.
Everything para la raza.
Yeah.
And like I said, I really appreciate you, man. Me diste tu tarjeta, and I was excited. I was like, man, I hope I can make this happen today, because I'm a fan of you, man. Because everybody like appreciates the boxers, but they don't know what comes behind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And quería preguntarte, how important is it, like you're with all these boxers, but how important is it to create a relationship with the boxers coming into the fight?
Nah, that's a good question, man. It's 100% important, 100%. Because not only are you dealing with their body, but you're dealing with their mind. And psychology is, yeah, because you work with a lot of athletes. Psychology is extremely important, especially in this game, because the ultimate goal of a fighter in this game is to render his opponent unconscious. And that's to knock him out. That's the ultimate goal, which means a long-term injury, right? So my job, like say, is to take care of them like they're my children. And psychology is a good part of what we do. And you can't teach that. I can show you how to wrap hands. I can show you how to work cuts, but I can't show you how to be in their hearts and souls, unless you've been there. Right?
Eso
So,
sí.
Yeah.
good question.
Yeah, no, it's. I feel like it would be a lot important because they have a lot of trust that goes in. It's raps. It's what's gonna make what makes their money. You know what I mean? And going behind just with them, knowing that you're gonna be behind their back. And I've heard of a lot of people praise you just like comes in like, oh my god, it's Stitch. Like
Yeah.
you either know it's gonna be a great fight when you come in, or it's gonna be a scary fight when you come in. You know?
Yeah, it's a mind blower, bro. It's not, yeah, I tell you, it just people stop me for all these crazy things, and fighters come up to me, and I mean, just it's a mind blowing experience.
So, like, when it comes to wrapping hands, is there a certain way that you do it, or do you do it based on whatever they like? Because when I used to do taping for ankles and all that stuff, there's a lot of different people that like different ways how you tape. You get to do it super tight or a little bit loose. It just depends how they want it.
Good question. You guys are real good, man. But you're right. But there's a basic wrap that I have. All right, you know, because in the old days when I was learning to be a cut man, this was boxing only. There was no kickboxing was brand new. There was no MMA, boxing only. And these old veteranos thought that what they had was a secret. So I remember I was in Richmond, California, and Bone Crusher Smith fought Marvis Frazier, son of Joe Frazier. And one of the earlier fights, this guy did a good job on the cuts. And I was learning to be a cut man. So I went up there and I said, hey, man, I'm trying to learn to be a cut man. Can you tell me what you did? He says, fuck you. He goes, I'm taking this to my grave, and you got to learn like me. And he walked away. Bro, I felt about this big, man. But I said, I'm never going to be like that piece of shit. So my job is to teach. To teach now and to give back.
Nah, it's crazy. I see that a lot. A lot of people are like, te tiran a león, like, este güey quién es, like this little kid, but they don't know, like, you affect that, like you said, psychology.
Yeah.
When he told you that could have changed your mindset. You could have gone, I don't want to do this no more, or push harder for it. Yeah. And in your case, you push hard and look at where you're at. The people you work with, you know.
Well, here's a cherry on top. Okay, because when my adult life, I lived in Oakland and I worked with Andre Ward, right? Undefeated super middleweight champ, gold medalist, won the Super Six, and I was with him from day one. So when he said that, I was before I was at that level. But now that my credibility went up and been in the movies, I've been with all these fighters, he forgot about it, but I never did. Now him and his son want to take a picture with me, so I'm going to say, "Órale, cabrones," you know, fuck you, you just taught me not to be like you.
Hey, I love that.
And there was a lesson, but I'm going to dig up an interview. The Klitschko brothers, Vladimir and Vitaly, right? I worked with them for 8 years. I did the old movie Ocean's 11.
Oh yeah,
and when Vladimir fought Lennox Lewis. Well, it was 4 days. She was a quick shot, but after that, I worked with Vladimir for 8 years.
Oh, wow.
And then Vitaly, when he came out of retirement after he fought Lennox Lewis. But we were talking about the importance of the relationship.
Yeah.
Vladimir, when we were doing the movie Creed 3, Michael B. Jordan asked me who should give away the WBC belt. Because they used me as an advisor, and I gave him the story of Suleiman, Mexico City, the most prestigious belt, and it should be a Mexican, right? So when Earl Spence fought Ugas in Dallas, I saw Mauricio Suleiman, and I told him the story that here's how we represented the belt.
Yeah.
And being that both Klitschko's fought for the WBC belt, he says, let's take a picture and let's send it to the brothers, right? Well, Vladimir came back and he sent me. I'm gonna let you guys listen to this. This comment that he gave me, bro. Well, you gotta tell me after you hear it. So let me raise it up here. Espérame, but you guys can be worth it. Okay, a ver si se puede.
My two favorite men, especially Stitch, with whom I spent so much time talking, and he actually saved my career on a lot of different stages. If Stitch wouldn't be in my corner, I would not make the record of 12 years being a champion. So that's so great to see you both, and Stitch is the man.
Damn, how does that make you feel?
Hey, bro, I almost cried. Like it gave me every time I mention it, it gives me chills. And 2 weeks ago, actually, we did the show in Corpus Christi. There was a Ukrainian, a fighter from Ukraine.
Yeah.
And his interpreter she's the vice president of the Ukrainian Boxing Federation. And so she showed me a picture of her and Vitaly. And said, well, let's take a picture and I'll send it to Vitaly. Well, Vitaly responded right away. We're in the dressing room. And she says, well, let me call him. Maybe he'll answer. Man, he picked up the phone. Hey, Stooge, I was telling you, Stooge, man, I think about you all the time. I miss you, man. I love you. You know, wow, that's it. Almost brought tears to my eyes because they're in the middle of the war. You know, Vitaly is the mayor of Kiev, and of course Zelensky is the president, and Vladimir is the face of the country. So you know they're in deep stuff. So to get that kind of message,
That is such a
that touched my
time.
heart, man.
Nah, that's crazy.
It's like, same thing how we mentioned in the beginning, where it's like, it's the psychology of it. You take care of these people, and they'll always remember you at the end of the day, because it's like saying, well, I had someone, I was in good hands.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, you know, parents, wives, you know, brothers, sisters, they come up and say, man, thanks for taking care of my brother. Thanks for taking care of my husband. Thanks for taking care of my son, you know. And so the parents appreciate it. The family appreciates it, you know.
Yeah.
So it's a job like no other. Beats a hell to picking tomatoes and peaches, bro. But, you know, it's real funny. As a farm worker, I always wanted to play American baseball, right? And but in the summertime, when it was time to pick the crops, all these farm workers would come from Texas, Arizona, Nuevo Mexico, Colorado, Mexico, and my little township was así, man. And we go to the dances, man. We'd be dancing with the Tejanas. We were puro chingazos, bro, man. So we learned how to fight against you guys.
¿Y cómo fue su? I mean, you said you were a kid wanting to play baseball.
Simón.
¿Cuándo fue que empezó a cambiar? Que usted quiso decir, ¿sabes qué? I'm going to start boxing. Because I know you started training boxing. You did MMA and all that stuff. ¿Cuándo fue que transicionó esa mentalidad?
Pues cuando siempre he jugado béisbol cada año, And cuando salí del high school, entré al colegio to play baseball at the college. In Merced, it was 9 miles away, pero como no tenía carro. So I would go to school with camaradas, and they would go to school. Luego se iban después de la escuela. Yo me quedé a practicar con el equipo y todo, y con el dedo grande haría home. But yo no sabía about grants. I didn't know about grants and scholarships, and nobody ever advised me. And so I joined the military in 1972. And 1974, they stationed me in Thailand, but I always said if I went to the Orient, I'd want to study the martial arts. That was during the Bruce Lee era. And so I saw my first Muay Thai fight. I had some friends. In fact, one of them, Ramiro from Laredo, invited me to some Muay Thai fights. I didn't even know what Muay Thai was. Este vato tiró una patada and knocked the guy out. And I said, boom, I'm in. So
Hay son casos ahí que...
yeah, I'm in, man. That's the sport I want. But on the base, they had Taekwondo. Well, Taekwondo, Thailand, to me, is the same. Yeah, I guess but Taekwondo is a Korean sport.
Yeah.
But when they left, the Thais took over and transitioned us, and they gave us the best of both. And as a matter of fact, my head instructor just passed away like 3 days ago. I found out from his brother that was one of my students. So we still stayed in touch 40, 50 years later. So that's how I got started. Then I had my school of kickboxing, and I was a trainer. I promoted these fights. I managed the fighters, and I learned to be a cutman, and that kind of went up to the top, and I made the move to Vegas 28 years ago, and here we are in Houston, and Raul Marquez is here. Giovanni is going to be fighting, but Raul Marquez was my first coming out fight, as he fought Keith Mullins, and people didn't know who I was, but I had a lot of experience in kickboxing. Con los codos, they all got cut, and Raul ended up with 5 cuts, and I kept him in the game. He defended his title, and that was the start of me coming out with the big boys. Y aquí estamos con Raúl.
Yeah, what's funny, like how he said he got into, Muay Thai and that stuff. It's usually because us as men, we like violence.
Yeah, it's a big sport.
Like for me, I was never really into football.
Yeah.
Up until when I started doing, athletic training and all that stuff. Because one thing's watching it on the TV, the other thing's watching it like from
In
the
person?
sideline.
Yeah.
Dude, el chingadazo que se meten at first, I was like, oh shit,
Yeah.
I like this.
Yeah, take the pain.
Yeah.
Talking about pain, su primer cut. How was that experience going into it? Because you only have a certain amount of time to get that, like, evaluated, see what you got to do. How is that going into your first fight, official deep cut that you're like, fuck, it's time to get down?
Yeah, well, it's funny. That's a good question, because I'll give it to you this way. And that question is also how my name came to be Stitch.
Oh,
Right? So you gotta get 2 for 1, and since you asked, you're the one that's getting this information.
Oh.
So I used to work with Dennis Alexio. Dennis Alexio was the baddest athlete I ever met at that time. He was a world champion in kickboxing. But if you go back to the movie Kickboxer, he was Jean-Claude Van Damme's brother that was in the wheelchair. Well, he was a great athlete. Well, his sparring partner, Dave Rooney, we did a show in Vallejo, California, and Dennis fought, and Dave Rooney was on the card, and at that point, I was making the transition from a trainer to a cutman, and I would see what other cutmen would do, and so anyway, Dave ended up with a cut, and I got some tape, and I cut little strips and made a butterfly, and he says, "Oh man, you send me stitches. I don't have to go to the hospital. You send me stitches, I'll call you Stitch." And that's where the name came from. And last thing I heard, Dave Rooney was a fisherman somewhere in Alaska. But I don't know if he knows how much he changed my life. The people all over the world don't even know my first name. You guys shit the stick by Sam. Cagaron el palo este güey, cabrón.
Es que está en Google.
No.
Just Google it.
Yeah.
Pero su emoción para ver la primera cortada, no, it didn't affect you mentally. It didn't like want to make you throw up or something.
No. But there was a cut. Dave Monet, no, not Dave Monet. Jonathan Goulet fought Jay Heron in MMA, and Jonathan Goulet was Canadian. He gave that cut, that big vein we have right here. Mm-hmm. He hit Jay with a knee, and cut was about this big, but it severed the whole vein, and shit just came out in blood. Man. It was so much blood it made me nauseated. And so they asked me, I'm working on it, and Stitch, what do you think? Can you stop it? Yeah, no problem. And I mixed adrenaline chloride and Vaseline as a medication, and I put it on the cut, and the blood went right through it. I said, it's done. So that's the bloodiest fight I ever worked, and Jay Heron is proud of it. He's a stuntman now, but that ring is at Randy Couture's gym.
No shit.
Yeah.
Damn, man. It's funny because like the way how you put it, I'm just thinking in my head, it's like you trying to put tape on the boat that's sinking. It's like, it's fine.
But because in those days, I told you they wouldn't give you. They thought it was a secret, and they would take it to the grave, like the guy that told me. And that was the mentality then. So you had to learn. I had to learn by trial and error, and then talking to doctors and all that. And the guys can't see, but there's a little scar right there. As I was wrapping my hands, you talked about wrapping your hands. I would practice on myself, and I'd get on the bag, and I would adjust it, and too tight, too loose, and I'm at home, and I'm cutting it off, and my skin turns, and I take about this much off. Oh! So I'm home by myself, and I'm like, oh, shit. And I said, well, I'm a cut man, so I went to the refrigerator. I got my adrenaline chloride 1000. I put it on there. It's a little mark from God that I'm supposed to be doing this.
That's crazy.
So I know, aquí tengo la marca, so.
Y habla de eso del chloride. ¿Usted, chloride? Usted tiene su little thing que le ponen en los cheeks.
Yeah.
You made your own, right? Your own.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point. And what happened is I was coming back from UFC in London, and we're at the airport like this. Me, Kenny Florian, Burt Watson, and actually I get the water bottle, and I'm just like this, and I'm like this, and I'm thinking, wow, what you see?
Yeah, the flat.
Yeah, that's that.
See how it contours?
Yeah.
It contours to the cheekbone and the eyebrows. And the majority of your swelling comes here or here, right? And all the KO swells, the end swells that they have are all flat. And so I went home, I got some clay, and I put it together, and I had a prototype done, and I put my brand on it, and now Cutman for Hire Supplies carries it, and that's a good question, because with that, the relationship is technique. They talk about technique is you see guys doing this, like,
I was going to ask about that.
Okay.
Do that?
Yeah, well, because they're wrong. No, but I'll tell you why, because you'll see guys doing this because they see other guys doing that.
Yeah.
See, there's no school in this game to protect these fighters. But in theory, as you look at that, that's wrong, because their theory is you get that, when you get swollen, it's because you have blood that's accumulating.
Yeah.
So their theory is you're going to move it over here, but pendejos, you move it here, it comes right back, now it's bigger. Right now you got more,
That's what
because it goes into tissue that's not damaged. And so you're not going to eliminate the swelling, but you can maintain it by cold direct pressure. How many times you could cut and you put your finger on your cut and blood coagulates itself. So you got to let it work for you. And so that's the theory behind that. That's a good question. So we just educated people.
Hey, there you go. You guys take notes. I'm going to drop a clip right here.
And I also tell young fighters and, the young fighters that are listening, I always tell them, I say, look, if two questions you want to, or two things you want to find out from a cutman if you're looking for one. Number one, if he puts a swab in his mouth or in his ear, get him out of
Valió
the cutman.
madre,
Yeah.
That's filthy. That's
It's
old school.
nasty.
But number one is asking what the adrenaline chloride 1000 is. That's the medication that we use. And 9 out of 10 will say, oh, it's a coagulant. Well, if it's a coagulant, get rid of them because it's a vasoconstrictor. So they don't know. See, some, oh, no, it's a coagulant, carnal. Ponle, it's a, you know, se para la sangre. Bullshit. It's a vasoconstrictor. So as you see me work on a cut, I'll squeeze. I'll take that little blood out of the little veins. Then I'll put the swab, and it absorbs into the vein, and it goes in.
Hey, the more you know.
Yeah, it's all technique, man.
It's all technique, yeah.
You learn as you go, pretty
Yeah.
much. You build a habit of it.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be back in a little bit, guys. We're going to take a quick break and see you guys in a bit. And ya regresamos, mi raza. And we're over here talking about work. And we're talking about being judgy.
Yeah.
You
You
Mr.
know,
Cutman.
Aquí estamos.
one thing being Hispanic and all that stuff, we become very judgy, especially with work.
You see?
I know. Looking for the little things, ¿verdad?
Oh, yeah,
Me
for sure.
too. Yeah.
I was going to ask you, Anna, do you notice that in the ring?
I check out every fight. My kids were born in the gym. They understand, and they'll take me, Dad, this guy's doing this, or Dad, this guy's doing that. And oh, they know, of course. Yeah.
Are your kids following your footsteps? Or
Nah. You know, because I've told everybody, and I said, look, in this game, you got to do it for the love and not for the money. But you got to spend time in the gym. You know,
sure.
hours and days and weeks and months and years in the gym, and
It's a
it's a commitment. You know that, yeah. So
No, fuck. I thought, I mean, us as Hispanics, you know, we always like, hey, vas a hacer lo que yo diga, you know, or
Yeah.
like stuff like that. But I'm glad your kids are, I mean, I'm pretty sure they appreciate your work right now. They're like,
oh yeah, as a matter of fact, my oldest one, Carla, with the ABC, the Association of Boxing Commissions, for the first time through my daughter and the group that she's working with, Rose Gracie, one of the Gracie family, and as Eric so and so, they got a committee of 10 retired fighters now that are with the panels of the association boxing committees to make decisions for fighters. So you know, it's slowly but surely, you know, people are getting involved and all that. So yeah.
how do they feel seeing you in movies?
Oh, they don't even pay attention to me. Those days are done, you know. Every time, you know, my wife would get excited, my kids, oh yeah, Dad, where are you at this week? Did you know, yeah.
What was the excitement like to know that you were going to be in your first movie?
You know, the first one was with Woody Harrelson, Antonio Banderas, played to the bone. And I got a call the day I was leaving RJ Reynolds Tobacco Company. I was with them for 23 years. I get a call that they wanted to audition for this movie. I knew nothing about it, so I just put a jacket, Coleman jacket. Hey, all right, and so I got the part. You know, so I wanted to be Antonio Banderas' Cutman because he was Latino, I'm Latino, but Chuck Bodak, the legendary Cutman, got in front of me, and I ended up with Woody Harrelson. But working with Woody Harrelson, I got all the props. You know, you got the best cut man in boxing, and so Chuck Bodak said, "Man, you're lucky you got all the cuts." I said, well, could have been you, cabrón, but you got in front of me. You know, and so that was the start.
But Antonio Banderas, that's
Yeah.
big.
Yeah, no, it's big. Yeah, Woody Harrelson también.
Woody, yeah.
yeah,
Big actors.
yeah, big actors. You know.
Zorro.
Yeah, porque gacho, Chuck got right in front of me. Ese pinche vato cabrón, man. You know, but that was Chuck Bodak.
So you did that one, and then you got hit up to do, was it, what was the name of the movie? Here Comes the Boom?
Yeah.
Or was it Creed first?
No, I did Play to the Bone.
Play to the Bone.
Then I did Ocean's 11 when Vladimir Klitschko fought Lennox Lewis when they robbed the casino. I spent 4 days there. And then I did Balboa. When
Oh,
Rocky
yeah,
fought
that's
his last
right.
fight.
That's right.
I was in the corner with Antonio Tarver. And then after that, they called me to do Play to the Bone. So what happened there is I'm doing a fight at the Mandalay Bay, I think, or MGM, but in Las Vegas. And guy wanted to take a picture. And of course, people always want to take a picture. All right, come on. He said, no, just you by yourself.
What?
And then he says, you know, hey, listen, Kevin James wants you in the movie, you know. And I said, yeah, okay. So they flew me to Boston. We did it in Lowell, Massachusetts. And in movies, when you have lines, you get residuals.
Yeah.
That's where the money comes, right? You get what they call mailbox checks. Well, bro, I'm looking at the script and I ain't got no lines. I said, no, I got to figure something out, bro, you know. And but it was time when it was time for me to do my scene with Kevin James, he said, "Stitch, we gotta have you say something." And I said, "Man, I'm playing the pendejo part right now." You know what? I always tell the guys is welcome to the UFC. Ah, yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. So here comes the time, man. Can I show you?
Yeah.
All right. So here comes the time is when it's time for me to do my scene, right?
Yeah.
So they call me in and he's cutting. You know, he's kind of I'm kind of working on him and all. Stitch, I can't believe you're working on me. What a week I'm having, and so I'm working like this, and then I go, well, welcome to the UFC, you know, and then I walk off, and everybody started laughing, right? And see, like that, because nobody knew I was going to slap him, man, right? So that was a one-take Jake, right? Yeah. So that was my $1 million line.
What did Kevin James tell you after that? I was like,
Oh, they all started laughing. No, they said, man, that's a take. That's a take. You know, and I told them I didn't want to tell you because I didn't want you to.
Yeah.
But that's a love tap. You know, hey,
Yeah.
you hear that, you know.
Pretty sure the director in the background. That's it. Perfect.
I know. Yeah. But my wife said, man, why you hit those guys so hard? They get hit harder than that. That's just a warm up. You know, it's a love tap.
Oh, yeah,
you know,
it's a
so that's what happened. That's how I got my line with Kevin James and my son-in-law homie and my daughter Carla handling my social media, and they just put that clip out there, and it's a great one.
that's awesome.
Welcome to the UFC.
Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome to the podcast. Ding, chingazo. Véngase para acá. How many times you jefito? Véngase para acá, cabrón. You know.
That's good, man. So, are you still in contact with Kevin James or any of the actors?
No. You know, only when we do it. You know,
When we do it?
Yeah, I've saved like fighters.
Yeah.
You know, I work with them and all that, but that's about it. But when we see each other again, then of course.
Who would you say is the closest relationship you have now with any fighter, any person that you have? Somebody in the ring, outside of the ring. Is there somebody that you?
Bro, there's
Man,
too many of them.
too many of them.
It's like saying I like you better than you.
You probably do. No.
Hey, shit. There we go.
Look, that's my left leg.
Chingazo with the other hand. Boom.
It's just turning.
Yeah. They do that together and give me the body shot, huh?
You see that? We're gonna have to. No.
I'm still traumatized from last time.
Bro, Juan. Shout out Juan, man. We gotta get you to meet him, man. He's gonna be a really good boxer. He has a fight on November 11th, I want to say.
Yeah, November 11th.
No, but where are you gonna be at?
Sabrá Dios, man. Man, I got booked all the way till February the 8th and 10th. That's for like the Super Bowl weekend with Top Rank. We're doing 2 shows in Vegas. So that's, I think, like Wednesday and Friday or something like that during Super Bowl weekend. So I thought local.
Top Rank. How was it that you got started with Top Rank?
Good question. You know, when the bubble kicked in, or when COVID kicked in, everybody was down. I remember we were going to do a show in New York, Shakir Stevenson, Top Rank, and I was flying up there, and this when COVID was kicking in, and they're saying, well, you know what, we're going to have the show, but no audience. That's fine. As long as they throw a shot, I get paid. But the day of the weigh-ins, they said, nah, you know what, we're not. So they sent us back home, and that's when COVID started. So we're home for all this time, and Top Rank called Brad Jacobs, the CEO, and says, look, we're going to do 16 shows in the bubble at the MGM, and would you like to be one of the house cutmen, me and Mike Basil? And of course, I loved it. I'm 20 minutes from the MGM. So I would get there on Wednesday, I'd get tested, be on lockdown, literally on lockdown, and do a fight on Friday, and then Saturday come home Sunday. And I did that 16 fights. So when COVID finished, they liked the program so much, Top Rank, that they kept us in as house cutmen. So they pay us to take care of the ones that don't have a cut man or they need their hands wrapped, and they get A quality stuff.
Yeah.
So that's how we started with them, and great organization.
Yeah, actually.
Super.
So during that time, COVID, did you had to get tested every time for each fight?
No, every time I got locked in.
Oh, okay.
I did a boxing version. I called it the Shawshank version. The boxing version of Shawshank Redemption. Yeah.
Everything behind closed the walls.
Literally, I couldn't leave my room till I couldn't even go visit you. You know, even though we stay in your room till it was time to go eat, the weigh-ins and fights, and that's it, and then back.
Have you had a fight to where you had to call off the fight because the cut was way too bad, and the fighter got mad at you for stopping the fight?
I've stopped fights, but no, not mad. The last one that I did was Andre Durrell when he fought Jose Esqueregi, and this was I think in D.C., Washington D.C. at the MGM, and he was taking the kind of shots that give you long-term damage. I mean, just taking heavy shots, and I'm looking at the doctors, and they're talking amongst themselves. So I go and I start working on him, and I say, Andre, the doctors are thinking of stopping the fight. Do you want to continue? And he goes like this, just a small no, and I stop the fight. And the Virgil Hunter's the coach, no, one more round, and the grandfather, no. But once he said no, done. And the next day, him and his wife called me and thanked me. And he said, man, I just didn't have nothing with me. But I was looking at that, and those are long-term shots where they come here and they go all the way through, and those are the ones that create damage down the road. So, yeah, and they know if I'm going to do it, there's a reason why. I was doing bare knuckle fights, and I think one of the girls got a cut right on the bottom of the eyelid. And, I mean, real thin, like a razor cut. And I looked at it, and in bare knuckle fighting, they give you 30 seconds to work on it, which I think is a great rule, as the doctor looks at it to see if they could continue. And the referee says, well, Stitch, you got 30 seconds. I said, nope, I don't need them. I'm not going to let her go out there. No. I said, look, when she's arguing, no, I'm okay. I said, no. Once you go into the dressing room, you look yourself in the mirror, you're going to thank me. She came back and thanked me.
Losing an eye just to want to continue a fight.
Yeah, exactly. You got to look at that.
I mean, because, once an athlete gets to that point, I think it's more like they have to think about the long term, kind of like how with Cornelius, remember how he said that he had that fractured eye. So it was like he knew he was done for. Because at that point, is the longevity. Because after you retire or anything like that, you still have to live with that.
Oh yeah.
With that injury.
Well, it's like, what's his name? I forget. Man, I talk about him often. The boxer that got hit behind the head, that ended up paralyzed. What's his name? We talk about him often.
Yeah.
The Puerto Rican fighter.
Yeah, Puerto Rican fighter.
The young guy. Yeah, Pobrecito, man.
That's. I think that was uncalled for, and I think. Do you feel like the ref was making the bad calls, or it was just something that was going on between them that they were just gonna hit each other back and forth?
Nah, I don't know. It's tough. Those are calls that you're always going to have debates on, but the bottom line is kids down.
Man, just to assess them.
But safety is a big thing. And that's why education is a big thing.
Have you worked with a fighter that you've wanted to work your whole life, unexpected, random, and then you're like, they hit you up, they want you to work for them?
Yeah, the Klitschko brothers.
The Klitschko brothers?
Yeah, when they asked me to work with them, because Vladimir, he tells Emmanuel Stewart, was training him at that time, and I was doing a radio show. And but I'm at the MGM, and we're watching the fans walk into the arena, and Emmanuel Stewart walks by, and he's commentating for HBO. And he goes, Stitch, he goes, want to talk to you about Vladimir. And I talked to my buddy. I said, you see what I saw? Well, the next day he called it, and Emmanuel Stewart called me. Excuse me. He says, Vladimir is talking about you, the cutman that was in the movie with him, to be his cutman, and that was me. Damn. And that's how it started.
Any boxer you're excited or you want to work with?
Man, I got them all, bro.
You got them all?
Yeah, man.
I know. It's just
yeah.
There might be somebody that you want to work with.
No, I would. And Canelo, I love the guy. He uses my tape, right, which is great. Well, I would love just to go and wrap his hands one time, but Eddie, and also his trainer says, hey, usamos tus cintas. Y le dije, hey, para mí es un honor. Que andan cargando eso, but my tape and the KO swell and the wrist wrap, Juan Ramirez is exclusive. He carries my shit, only him, because through a dream, I was always selling my stuff, but I was traveling all the time, and I would get it to you late. So through a dream, I woke up and I called Juan. I said, hey Juan, I said, look man, would you be interested in carrying my tape and my KO swell and my wrist wrap? And oh yeah, of course. I said, look, I'll help you get to where you want to get. My job is for you to do this full time. So I could go with Everlast, I could go with Tidal, I could go with all these guys with my tape and all that, but I'm giving it out to one. and now, like I said, Canelo uses it. Michael B. Jordan let me use it in the movie. And so, yeah, you got to help the raza out as much as possible.
Oh, yeah. Sure. Yeah. The most heartwarm, is that you say? Heartwarm feeling that you've had with any interaction, whether it's fighter or even a fan of yours?
Hey, listen, now, there's been moments. I'll give you one for MMA and one for boxing. Is Vladimir Klitschko, when actually his last fight when he fought Anthony Joshua in Wembley Stadium. All right, I didn't get there till Wednesday or Friday at the weigh-ins. I didn't see him Vladimir and Vitaly till Friday because my daughter Carla had got married in the island of Crete, and I got there Thursday night. So I'm talking to Vladimir like this and Vitaly, and then at the end, I said, don't worry about nothing tomorrow. I'm gonna take care of you like you're my son. I
I was about to say, damn, I feel like he's gonna take care of me.
So anyway, so here we are in the middle of the fight, right before Michael Buffer does the announcer. There's 90,000 crazy Brits, and it's loud and all that, and I'm putting the final Vaseline on him, and he's like this, and he said, I'm like this, look, and he says, you could call me son. Bro, that kind of gave me chills. I mean, the only one that knew about it was him and I, and just gave me chills. But he knew that psychology the night before because they can't sleep. They're nervous and all that. I took that out of his mind. And for him to say, you could call me son, just gave me chills. I saw him, the last time I saw him was about 3 months later in Germany. And I asked him very simply, he said, Vladimir, that moment, why? He said, Stitch, there's very few people I trust in my life. You're one of them.
Damn.
Bro. So you ask about that. In MMA, Chuck Liddell fought Wanderlei Silva. And I was working the corner with Chuck Liddell, and Leon Taz was with Wanderlei Silva. But about a week before, I had told Wanderlei, because we're all friends, he used to call me Santana. The Brazilian fighters used to give me Santana, right? So I told Wanderlei, I said, look, man, I'm give you some good luck, good karma. Next week is my birthday, so I leave it, So, man, the fight is brutal, bro. These guys are cracking each other, and the fight finishes, and I clean up Chuck. He has a cut, and clean him up, and I go see Wanderlei, and Wanderlei, how you doing? Oh, Stitch, he's like this, man. No, Stitch, I'm okay. And after this hard-fought battle, he says, Stitch, happy birthday.
Oh,
man, come on. After this big old fight, man. That's what made it crazy. Stitch, happy birthday.
Damn.
Crazy, bro.
See,
Story I thought about tons.
it's all that detail, where all these athletes will remember because
Oh, yeah.
show their appreciation for you.
Yeah.
That appreciation, the appreciation that everybody goes through having you on the side of the ring. Us appreciating you, having you here with us, man.
It's a big honor.
It's an honor.
Nah, you guys are doing a great job, and let's do it again because I got a shitload of stories, bro.
No,
Hey, you guys get pónganse listo porque estamos en el podcast.
I will. No, boss, we're gonna let you go right now, man. But I'm really happy you're here with us. And any word of advice you want to give to the young people, any boxers, any cutmans that are trying to grow?
The company, you guys spend hours, days, and weeks, and months, and years, man. But la gente como nosotros, le digo a la gente, sí se puede. All right? But I tell them, number one, that line that we're all scared to cross,
Yeah.
if you don't cross it, you'll never get there, man. Very simple. I ain't no different than nobody else. Tenía las ganas. I always gave 100%. No shortcuts. It's all business. Y sí se puede, man. So aquí estamos.
Oh, well. No, thank you guys for watching this episode. I'm glad we got to meet him. Man, you guys drop a like, drop a comment so we can start doing more of these. And hopefully, like you said, when you come back, man, you're more than welcome. We'll take you out for drinks, whatever you want to do, man.
Hey, but listen, and the next one, though, is if you got any questions, mándaselo a estos.
Oh, for sure.
And then we'll answer your questions.
We'll even do one better. We'll do a live stream podcast with you, our first official live stream podcast. We'll do it with you, and people drop their questions as we go.
Yeah, of course, man. I got shitload of stories. Yeah, it blows my mind every day. Like, why me? But it had to happen for somebody.
Hey, if it wasn't you, then who was it?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, thank you so much for having me.
Thank
Thank you guys for being here and dropping a like in the fucking video, man. Thank you for everything. Gracias.
All right.
We got smacked by Stitch right now. The best.
Every time he kept touching me, I was like,
Gracias, everybody. Thank you for everything.
Gracias, everybody. Thank you for everything.
Okay. Adios.
Thank you.
Bye.